Kaz Grala is the winner, the youngest driver to win at Daytona in NASCAR National Touring Series history.
Joey Stone just picked up his first career win. Holy cow, what a finish.
All right, we are back at it. New episode of All Clear here, and one of us has some big news here. Actually just came out, I think, the other day, right, Kaz? Dude, you're driving the 48 car for Big Machine Racing here for the next 2 weeks. I mean, you're taking the 48 to Talladega. You're gonna head to Dover. Kind of just came out of left field. I wasn't ready for this news. I don't think you were ready for it either. So, dude, tell me about it. Start the show off with this. Let's hear about this opportunity.
Yeah, it's a really big one for me, and as you mentioned, totally came out of nowhere. I was having a nice off weekend. I was enjoying watching some Martinsville racing on TV, and I got the call, which everyone talks about the call, but the call usually is a figure of speech. In this case, I really got the actual call, which was really cool over the weekend, and ended up heading up to the shop to Big Machine Racing on Monday morning with a seat. So it was short notice and definitely came out of nowhere. It's wild because I actually have never met Scott Borchetta. I haven't met Patrick Donahue, who runs the team over there. I really hadn't met hardly anybody on the team. I didn't have anyone's phone numbers. So I picked up a call from a random number. And it turned out to be some really, really great news. So I'll do the next two, Talladega and Dover. And of course, Big Machine Racing does have an RCR alliance, and they operate off of the RCR campus this year, which is new for them. So I am familiar with a lot of the people up there that we'll be working with and leaning on for technical support. So I feel like Talladega should be a good race for us. The RCR equipment and the ECR engines are always impeccable on the super speedways. So I'm sure we'll be pretty good at Talladega, but anything can happen. So that anything does include us winning. So there's a whole range of ways that the weekend can go in Talladega, but hopefully it goes well for our number 48 Big Machine vodka spiked coolers car. And then Dover, love Dover. That's one of my favorites. I have finished second at Dover in ARCA. I finished second at Dover in trucks.
That's you've had some good successes at Dover over the years.
Yeah, it's been a good track for me. I haven't won. I have some runner-up finishes, but we'll see if I can go try to get one of those badass monster trophies there someday, and that starts in a couple weeks with Big Machines. So that should be a lot of fun, and that will be a good gauge. Talladega is kind of its own animal, but Dover will be more of a gauge of how we're able to run on a more typical track, and how we stack up to our RCR Alliance members. So we'll get a read on where our performance is, and then who knows what the future of the team holds. I know they've got big plans for this year to really try to run up front and try to contend for wins. And I'd love to be a part of that for any additional races that they'd like me to drive for them.
It's a team that, man, there's so many question marks with the team, and not in a bad way. Like it's a team that's new. I think they were around. I think last year they were around, and now this year they have that alliance with RCR, and that kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. Nobody was really expecting that, and then you get this announcement that you're driving in the next two races. But I saw a quote from the owner of the team saying, like, he wants to compete, he wants to win, he wants to go out there and show what these cars can do. And I think it's great that they got a guy like you who is familiar with RCR like equipment going to a plate race where we've seen RCR have some pretty solid plate success lately. Austin Hill won the season open this year. I can think back a couple of years ago, Tyler won in the 2 car there. They've always had great speed at those tracks. So that's great for you. Dover's always been a great place for you. And you even mentioned the badass trophy there. Is that the most badass trophy to win? Like, I mean, I know the Daytona 500 trophy is obviously the most glorious one to win, but I know the grandfather clocks one, the Monster Mile one. Can you just imagine a gigantic monster in your living room just sitting there with your die cast in its hand? Is that the most badass trophy in your opinion?
I think it's got to be. I mean, I'm trying to think of. I mean, the noteworthy ones obviously are Dover, Martinsville with the grandfather clock.
Yeah.
You get that bronzed lobster up in New Hampshire. Which
Oh, the
would be
lobster.
cool.
The lobster.
That'd be cool to get at my home track. But those are, as far as I can think of, those are really the special trophies, the marquee trophies. And while the grandfather clock is awesome because that means you won at Martinsville, which is really cool. You know, it's a little more old school. I'm not sure if it fits in the decor of my apartment here that you can see. But I can say the monster would look fantastic right on that shelf right
I can
there.
see it, that gigantic square right there, right in the middle, man. That monster right there with the die cast in the hand. Perfect.
This is Daytona right here.
Yep,
And
yep.
Dover would go well.
That's
well,
perfect.
Wait, we did forget about Talladega has a pretty well-known trophy. The
Oh,
Anvil.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the next 2 weeks really have some pretty sweet trophies coming up after Bristol. So you know how it is. The trophy, that's great, but at the end of the day, for me in my position, a win is monumental. Period. It doesn't matter where it is, what series it's in. Wins are incredibly valuable when you're trying to make a name for yourself. So I don't care where it comes, but I'd love for it to happen. And there's no better time to do it than soon with big machine racing. So we'll give it all we got. But of course, I've got something to deal with between now and then. I've got to tackle the dirt at Bristol in the truck series with Youngs. So that's going to be a little bit different. And you know me, I'm not a dirt guy, not even a little bit. I come from, everyone says road courses. I say short tracks. I come from short tracks. That's what I've raced on the most. Late models, legend cars, bandoleros. But I did start when I was really young on road courses and go-karts. None of that includes dirt. So I did the Eldora truck race in 2017, and I did 2 crate modified races up at our local dirt track here, Friendship. A couple of those, I had like 10 cars in the race. And, I think that was okay. I think it was an all right warm up for me for the truck. But to be honest, to drive a stock car on dirt that's not made to go on dirt is so different than driving an actual dirt car. A real dirt car, all the way the suspension works, they call it up on the bars, the way the rear end torques, and it's all designed for grip on dirt. That's why dirt cars do what they do. Obviously, teams are maximizing how these cars can drive on dirt. So even though it's dirt, they have grip. It's a different kind of grip than asphalt, but they grip. You take these trucks out there on the dirt and there's no grip. They are absolutely out of their element on the dirt, which I think makes them really fun to drive, but not easy. Not even a little bit easy.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be honest, I did surprise myself at Eldora. I ran a lot better than I thought I would. I kind of went into the weekend back then thinking, all right, I was running full time at the time, and I was like, we'll get through this one. Try to salvage, get whatever position I can get and refocus on the next race after that. I did not have high hopes for myself because I'm looking at the field. You always get dirt ringers that are on the entry list. Then you got our regulars who at the time were Bell, Friesen, Briscoe.
Tough field right there.
Larson came and did it. But like these guys are the best. Oh, Rico that year. These guys are the best. So I wasn't expecting to be able to run with those guys on their own surface. And I actually did. I qualified 3rd on speed and won my heat race. And it was running like, I don't know, top 6, top 8, something like that in the feature. And Bell ahead of me ended up catching the lip and spinning out. And I tried to miss him and didn't, and absolutely nailed him. So I was out of the race, but I definitely held my own there better than I expected. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Bristol. Bristol's so different than Eldora. It looks like
a lot more banking there.
Yeah. I was not at Dirt Bristol last year, so I don't really know what to expect, but I'm hoping for the best. And I'm sure you saw the entry list. It's freaking stacked for this weekend.
It's crazy.
It's going to be a really, really tough one. But I didn't mean to get us ahead of ourselves here. We've got a lot to talk about from Martinsville last weekend. So we'll circle back here to Bristol Dirt.
We'll get back to it. I'm excited for Bristol Dirt weekend. A little skeptical. We'll see how this new car does here and everything. I can't say, though, hypothetically, I do have more experience than you at Bristol Dirt because I was actually there last year and saw the race. So I actually got to see it and everything. So who knows? Maybe I need to get into the O2 truck for you just to get a few laps in or so. But kind of going back to what we mentioned about Martinsville, lots to talk about from Martinsville. Good, bad, etc. We'll kind of go right from when the weekend started. Truck race, not a whole lot to talk about in this one. It was a little bit of a quiet Martinsville race, still a little bumping and banging left and right, but just looked like as soon as William Byron took the lead there in that 7 truck, and I think we all knew that 7 truck was gonna be good. I know Byron has never won at Martinsville, I think before this race. Before this race, I don't think he won, but we knew Hendrick equipment, Hendrick truck, he's gonna be up there at some point. And as soon as he took the lead, it just looked like he was unstoppable. Kyle Busch, though, he didn't look like he was. Wait, I'm not having a brain fart, right? He was in the race, right? Kyle Busch. Yeah.
He was in the race, and and it's crazy that you have to ask yourself that, because that's not how you typically come out of a truck race that Kyle Busch was in. And you know what? I believe I'm correct when I say I don't think he led a lap, which
I need to check this now.
When was the last time Kyle Busch was in a truck race and finished the race and never led a lap?
He led 1 lap. Kyle Busch led 1 lap the entire race long, and it was probably either coming to pit road and crossing the line, being that first truck at the line, or on a restart or so. Byron led 94, Ben Rhodes led 47, and a couple other cars led 1 or 2 during pit stops or whatnot. But Kyle Busch only led 1 lap the entire race.
What you said, it must have been, a timing and scoring situation, but he never took the lead of the race, and
crazy.
That's so uncommon for him. Really quiet race, but don't you think that was a weird Martinsville truck race?
It was really strange.
We didn't see a whole lot of action. We didn't see a whole lot of carnage, which is unlike trucks. And there's nothing different about the trucks this year than ever. So
it baffled my mind. It was crazy because we'd see these guys going 3 wide into the corner. I saw, how many dive bombs we saw in that race, and I cannot believe some of those guys didn't spin out or cause a 3-4 truck pileup, which blew my mind. That should have been like a 10-11 caution race. I mean, we may have had already 10-11 cautions, but it didn't even feel like it, though. It didn't even feel like it.
Yeah, I think they were just giving their guys a week to relax from the damage, because I think we're going to tear some stuff up at Bristol Dirt. So
it's going to happen.
Everyone was probably just trying to save up the chaos for this coming weekend. But yeah, it was a team race. Byron pretty much, put it to him in that one. And I was not entirely surprised by that, but I was impressed by that. Like you said, Byron, I don't think had won at Martinsville before that. And Spire, that truck, sure, it's got a lot of Hendrick support and help, but Spire's new in the truck series. So
third race in the trucks, I think 3rd or 4th race as a truck program.
I was really impressed with that performance. And so I think that had everybody a little worried about, well, is this weekend going to be exciting? And let me tell you, the next night it delivered, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, as Kaz mentioned right there, the next night, it seemed as if, though, the way I see it, it was so exciting, but man, I think it got the expectations for the Cup race super high after what happened. So breaking down this Xfinity series, lots of good cars in this race. Looked like from the bat, the top 2 cars looked to be maybe Ty Gibbs and Noah Gragson. Looked like those 2 were going to be going for the win a little bit. Noah, unfortunately, later on to the race, it was a little quiet at first, like first stage or so. Not too much action, not too much craziness, but as soon as stage 3 started, man, things started picking up. Only in the Xfinity series, though, right? We've seen this before plenty of times. Noah Gragson, Ty Gibbs battling it out. Sam Mayer making a charge near the end right there. And we got a late caution in the race. It came down to, I believe it was Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer on the front row. Sam was on the top. And if I remember correctly, when the restart went, Sam spun the tires a little bit. Allmendinger got into the back of Sam Mayer, turning the one car into Noah Gragson, right hooking Noah Gragson into the wall, causing, I believe, a 15-car pileup into turn number 1 at Martinsville. I mean, we haven't seen a wreck like that since, I think, 2017 Cup race, and that was after the finish. That was after the finish when they wrecked coming across the checkered flag. Absolutely crazy. It was funny, too, because Dale Jr. spun the caution before. He was back in like 23rd place, and all of a sudden he's up to a 11th place right there at the end, which was absolutely crazy. There's a lot more that happened in this race, though. And once the race finished here, I believe it was the last restart, and we're just kind of breaking down what happened here, and then we're going to break it down here, obviously, for you guys here. But last restart here, Brandon Jones chooses, I believe, the inside, right? He was second. He chooses the inside behind Ty Gibbs in third. Many would think, why would you want to lose a spot? I believe this is how it went. Am I correct here, Cass? He chose the bottom here.
I think
Okay.
so.
Okay. And I think the outside was Sam Mayer. I think it was Sam Mayer again on the outside here. So going into turn number 1, and before this, during the red flag, Brandon Jones's crew chief said on live TV, they asked him, "What are you telling Brandon Jones right now to win this race?" And he literally said, "I'm telling him to wreck the 54. I'm telling him to ram him out of the way." And everyone laughed it off thinking, okay, is he really going to do that? Oh, he did. No, Brandon Jones drives into the corner, rams into Ty Gibbs, sends Ty Gibbs up the track, making it nearly a 3-wide situation, getting to the inside of Ty Gibbs. And we got to give hats off to Brandon Jones here, because we know that 54 car's got a little bit more speed than that 19. Okay. We know it. Brandon Jones manhandled that car and took on a Cup caliber car and won the race and did an incredible job. He didn't just slam into Ty Gibbs every single time he got to. He gave him room. He raced him clean and drove it. So kudos to Brandon Jones on the win. But that isn't the highlight. Oh, no. It gets even better right there, because Ty Gibbs was fighting for $100,000, I believe, against Sam Mayer, right? It was the dash for cash. It was Allmendinger, Sam Mayer, Ty Gibbs, all fighting for $100,000. So Sam Mayer decides to bump and run Ty Gibbs for the $100,000 on the final lap. Sam Mayer gets to the inside. They are already 3 wide. Ty Gibbs pinches Sam Mayer, ultimately causing both of them to collide and get into the wall, giving Allmendinger the $100,000. So on the cooldown lap, Ty Gibbs decides to ram into Sam Mayer's car twice. Typical short track racing. We get that. After the race, though, they come down pit road. Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer once again collide. They get out of their cars. Sam Mayer takes his helmet off. This is a really important detail, everybody. He takes his helmet off. They come to talk to each other. Ty Gibbs approaches Sam Mayer, pushes him, and then Sam Mayer goes up to him and starts talking to him, thus telling him to take his helmet off. Ty Gibbs does not take his helmet off, and without any expectation or any warning, Ty Gibbs punches Sam Mayer 3 to 4 times, starting a pit brawl on pit road, leaving one NASCAR official injured as well. So tough break for the NASCAR official, but I heard he is okay and he is doing well and whatnot. This was a huge topic, Kaz, on social media, and I mean for many reasons. Because of one we mentioned before, Ty Gibbs' attitude when it comes to driving, especially when he is the one receiving the bump and run or treatment that he proclaims to do to other drivers. So, Kaz, I think it's right for you to kind of start this little topic here and this little talk about what happened here, because you're in the driver's seat. You understand frustration, you understand anger, and in the moment of things like this. What was your take on everything that we just saw with Ty and Sam at Martinsville?
Yeah, I mean, last week I defended Ty on his move to win the race.
Rightfully so.
And I think that was a good move. It's a little hard to defend anything coming out of this weekend on his behalf, to be honest. You know, I think he he easily dominated the race. Really, it looked
Of course.
he was so much faster than everybody else. There wasn't a car all night that had anything for him. And you come down to, clutch time right at the end. You got to execute, and he basically gets outdriven by Brandon Jones. Now, Brandon had nothing to do with this fight, but he probably did psychologically, because I think Ty was probably as frustrated about losing the race as he was about the bump on the last lap. I think he just altogether came unhinged afterwards and frustrated, because he felt like that was his race to win, and he finished 8th. He lost the money, he lost the race, and sure, that's difficult to try to cope with. And we talk about how young he is and his inexperience, and that's a really tough situation to handle. And he didn't handle it very, very well there, because he ended up hitting Sam Mayer after the checkered, which is certainly not okay, and then drilling him all the way down pit road, which he ended up getting a $15,000 fine for that, and not anything related to the fight, just for hitting him on pit road, which I totally agree with, because the problem here is you've got drivers starting to undo their belt on pit road. You've got crew members walking on pit road. You've got NASCAR officials standing on pit road right in front of where the cars are coming to a stop, directing them as to where to go. There's a lot. If you're sitting in a 3,400-pound race car with a hot temper around people on foot, that can become a very dangerous situation pretty quickly. And so you have to be mindful of that. And it doesn't matter how angry you are. One of the things that is just kind of known in racing is you just can't do that. You can't take that anger out through the garage area, on pit lane, anywhere where there's people. There's no place for that, because it's just a dangerous situation. So he railed Sam Mayer all the way down pit road as they came to a stop there after the race, and then the fight. Now, once again, I struggled to be on board with Ty's approach here, because he kept his helmet on. Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm in a fight, I'm keeping my helmet on too, but not a fight that I'm causing. You can't wear your helmet over to somebody who doesn't have their helmet on and instigate that fight with them. That's just wrong.
He's about to say he started it too, and he said in his interview that Sam started it, but Ty got out of his car, walked up to Sam, and pushed him with the helmet on. So Ty started it with a helmet on. So that's the big part right there.
Yeah. Ty laid his hands on Sam initially. Ty threw the first punch. Now Sam was angry too, and angry with Ty's reaction, and he was heated. It was a fight. It took 2 to tango. Sam was pushing a little bit back. Sure, but
Hey guys, this is Joey Stone, co-host of All Clear. Unfortunately, when we were recording this episode, we had no idea what was going to happen next. When we finished the recording and I brought it to the editing studio and whatnot, for some reason, it just completely deleted the last half of the show. It recorded the rest of the show, but for some reason, the audio and the video just completely went blank. We have no idea what happened right there. So unfortunately, the rest of the show, you will not see Kaz and I talking, just kind of me carrying on what the show was talking about here for at least a few minutes here. So Kaz was mentioning about how Ty Gibbs didn't take his helmet off and whatnot, which definitely caused a huge storm in the community, but rightfully so. Because, when you're a NASCAR driver and you have an altercation with somebody, the first thing you get out of the car, you kind of address the situation. You look around, see what's going on, right? Sam Mayer knew that Ty Gibbs was really upset with him for some reason. Bumped into him plenty of times on the warm down lap, on the cool down lap, that is. He takes his helmet off because he knows something is probably going to happen here. Ty Gibbs does not take his helmet off, addresses Sam Mayer by pushing him and starting the altercation. Sam then goes to him, tells him to take his helmet off, etc. He does not do so. and without any warning, Ty Gibbs decides to punch Sam Mayer about 3 to 4 times, and even looks like he scratched him too and whatnot. They met after the race though. Apparently, Sam and Ty are on good terms now, quote unquote. They're looking to the next chapter and whatnot. I mean, personally, if I'm Sam Mayer, I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this. I'll put it in my back pocket, and I will hold on to it until it comes to a time when it's very, very important, going for a win or something very, very serious, like going for the Final Four, for the championship, or something like that. I don't expect this to carry on into Talladega or anything like that, because Talladega is obviously, in my opinion, one of the most action-packed / dangerous tracks on the circuit to even think about paying back somebody because of the consequences. So I don't think anything's going to happen there. But if I'm Sam Mayer, and he quote by saying, he said that, he's about they're on the same page. They're on the same page. I certainly hope that Sam Mayer, if something happens with him and Ty Gibbs again, that he just looks and says, oh, we're on the same page. I'm just on a different book or a different chapter. And that would complete the entire arc of this rivalry right here. But after that, we talked about the Cup race a little bit here. And, Kaz and I mentioned how we think the Xfinity race definitely seemed to have overhyped for what the Cup race could have been. Now, Kaz mentioned in the show when we were recording that how he kind of had a feeling what the Cup cars were going to do, but he didn't think it was going to be that bad. But when I say that bad, he didn't mean the racing. And I can agree with them on that, because we saw the best cars drive up to the front. There was no doubt about that. But it just kind of seemed as though the passing was very, very hard. Now, what was the issue with this? What was the reason why this happened here? There could be a few things. For example, one thing a lot of drivers complained about was the frigid temperatures and how cold it was for a spring race at Martinsville. That definitely can cause a lot more grip to be on a track like that. So that was definitely a cause of it. One thing a lot of people are starting to talk about is the how wide these tires are now. Because the wider these tires are, the wider they are, that's more grip. That's more of the tire you can use. And I saw Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch take 4 tires there with like 40-something to go. They were sitting 4th and 5th. And I was even kind of scratching my head a little bit. I'm like, I don't know why they're doing this, because Chase was a top 3 car the whole entire time, and I thought if he just gets a good restart, he can be in 3rd, maybe even 2nd, and have a shot to win this race still. Kyle Busch, I was still a little confused about why they did that, and I think the highest finisher out of those two was Kyle, and he finished 9th. I think Kyle finished 9th in that race after restarting like 14th with like 35-40 to go. Usually with 25 lap fresher tires, or 20, you should be driving up to the front. You should be having a lot more grip at the start, a lot more acceleration off the corner, in the middle of the corner, coming off. It should be no question here. So, long story short with this Cup race, I know because there really wasn't a lot to talk about. Only 5 cautions in this race entirely. 2 of them being stage cautions, I believe, and then finally some cautions at the end of the race. I think our first caution that wasn't a stage didn't come out till with about 50 laps to go in the race. And whatnot. A lot of fans weren't happy with the race, which rightfully so. That's not the traditional Martinsville we're used to. We're used to seeing carnage. We're used to seeing that kind of stuff. But the racing aspect, from what Kaz saw and what I saw, was pretty decent. But then again, for a Martinsville race, it didn't live up to the expectations that many expected, which I completely agree with. Hopefully in the fall, the weather is a lot different. Maybe NASCAR can look at maybe assorting a different style package for this car to help that short track racing, because one thing Kaz mentioned as well was, if you notice Joey Logano, and it's happened a few times in the race with other cars, but it really showed the way these bumpers line up with these cars and how much grip these guys had. Joey Logano gave William Byron a bump and run. He bumped him to try to go for the win. Byron's car didn't even nudge. It's like a fly running into a brick wall. The brick wall doesn't move, but the fly moves easily. And that's what happened right there. So there's definitely some things that can be addressed after this race, and I think NASCAR will definitely look back, check out what they possibly could do for possibly maybe a short track package of some sort. Because Richmond, again, many people liked it, didn't like it. The strategy was amazing, though. That's racing right there. That was an amazing strategy. Many are wondering what Bristol's going to look like, not the dirt race, but later on at the night race, etc., and more short track racing as time progresses and whatnot. So William Byron wins the Cup race. He dominated that second half. Chase Elliott dominated the first half. Track position was huge. This race came down to the perfect driver, the perfect pit crew, and the perfect execution all around. Byron won that race. It could have easily been Chase Elliott. It could have been easily Logano. It could have been anybody. Chase looked like he had the car to beat, especially in clean air. His pit crew messed up when it counted the most. His crew chief made a little bit of a questionable call there, and Chase never could get back there. William Byron, his crew chief and his pit crew did a successful job. Clean pit stops. They got the lead when it counted the most. They didn't make another mistake. They won the race. Winning in the Cup Series, guys, is the hardest thing you could ever do. Many drivers have said it, even champions. It is very, very hard to win in the Cup Series. And I think this Martinsville race proved it once again as we head to the Bristol Dirt race. Speaking of Bristol Dirt, this weekend is going to be something crazy. I know last year we had the inaugural Bristol Dirt weekend. I was actually there. I got to see it in person, and it was pretty cool. I had a little bit of dirt on my clothes afterwards and whatnot, but man, that was one of the coolest things I ever saw. The racing part of I know, these cars were driving pretty slow on the long run. Passing was a little hard. You really couldn't go to the top and get the runs off the corner or anything like that. But this time around, Stuart Friesen tested a car there a little while back, and there was also some more video of what the car was doing as well. And for the most part, it looks like these cars are getting a lot more speed off the corner, through the middle of the corner. It's looking like maybe the top lane could work with the way this car works. You have to search for grip, search for that speed. And thinking of this immediately, Kaz mentioned as we were talking on the show originally that the dirt slingers are going to be the ones that are truly going to come out here and do an incredible job. And I think we're guys like Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, just to name a few right there. Some other guys too that are dirt guys. Tyler Reddick is one guy who will find any grip on the track, any place, he will go for it and try to get some speed. So I'm really excited for this. And Kaz mentioned too, he's also racing in the truck race. He's going into this one really excited, but also a little skeptical. He mentioned his dirt background isn't the most insane dirt background ever, but he ran the Adora truck race a few years back. He's got a few races here and there. Here's the Kaz that hopefully he just makes it to the finish with a clean truck. I mean, clean as in cosmetic damage, that because none of these cars, I would pay somebody $500 on the spot if any of these cars come home without a scuff of dirt on the truck or car. But that's the thing. It's never going to happen though, unless the race got rained out after or something like that. Something crazy would have to happen right there. But I'm excited for this Bristol Dirt weekend. I think it's going to be something really, really fun to watch. I know it's on Easter Sunday, and if you ask me, I'm kind of anti-Easter Sunday for the race because after last year, I had this race circled to go to again. And, my family, we celebrate Easter in our own ways, and family time is really important for me personally on that day. And since I live 5-6 hours away, it's kind of impossible for me to go up there after celebrating Easter with my family and getting up there. But, that's just me. I hope they don't do it on Easter Sunday again. I just think, unfortunately, it kind of fell on that day. But I'm hoping it's a great show. I'm hoping it's gonna really bring some excitement under the lights, Bristol Dirt, fireworks, and all that great stuff. Hopefully we see some short track tempers on dirt. That would be really, really cool. Kind of heading into what we predicted of what our picks were going to be. Kaz, I believe, picked our good buddy Tyler Reddick to win his first career race right here. And I like that pick a lot from him. I picked Tyler earlier this year. He's been fast everywhere we go. Lately, he's been a little quiet. He's been a little quiet behind the wheel with his results. But this is a track that fits his driving style. Kind of free-wheeling, go wherever you need to find that grip, make anything work. And it's dirt racing too. RCR has had some good cars this year, so great pick from him. I went ahead and picked Kyle Larson. I cannot believe he didn't pick Kyle Larson, so I took that pick immediately. I think I could finally beat Kaz in our little fantasy thing a little bit here. But Kyle Larson, the dirt master right now. Dude can win in anything he races at this point. He's been a little quiet lately, and I think this is a race where last year he had the car to beat until he got caught up in a wreck. Him and Christopher Bell both got caught up in a wreck. Dude had like half his car and still drove up to like 12th or 11th until he had like overheating or something like that. So I got Kyle Larson on his redemption arc here. I think he's gonna win the Bristol Dirt Race. But I don't think it's gonna be easy. I think we'll see some guys like Briscoe, Bell, Reddick, like we talked about earlier. Maybe even like a shocker. We might see like Kyle Busch go out there and do some cool stuff. Daniel Suarez was good last year. He's definitely an underdog pick. It's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna see a lot more excitement in this one than the Martinsville race. That's for sure. We're gonna see some spins, some wrecks, some guys going all out. I think we will see some tempers. These cars, you're able to go a little bit more full throttle. You're able to kind of rip it a little bit more. I think we're gonna see some chaos here. We're gonna see some tempers. I think first time a NASCAR driver, maybe a NASCAR brawl after a dirt race. Find me the history books that says the last time we had a NASCAR Cup race at dirt and there was like a tussle or a brawl after like that. We're going back in time, ladies and gentlemen. We are going back in time. But that was pretty much everything we covered right there. I think hopefully, like we said, the Bristol Dirt Race is going to be a lot more exciting. Hopefully we get a lot more great passing. Hopefully this new car allows the drivers to kind of go wherever they want to go and find the grip they need and get the runs on the outside and dive into the inside for some slide jobs, and we see some crossovers. I'm really hoping the fans get a great show, and I think they're going to. And I think the truck race is going to be really good as well. It's a star-studded truck race. Chase Elliott driving the number 7 Spire truck as well. Obviously, for someone who doesn't have a huge dirt racing background, he's looking to gain some experience for the Cup race on Sunday. So can totally see why they did that. Hey, William Byron drove the truck, Martinsville, looking for some experience. Carried over to Sunday and won. Who knows what's going to happen? But, guys, that's about going to do it for us here at All Clear. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties here. I kind of had to take over here for the next 15 minutes to fill up the episode at least. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel here for all the episodes. And, of course, follow us on Apple Podcasts for new episodes every single week so you guys are all catched up on everything NASCAR as we head to the new weekend. I'm Joey Stone. Kaz Gralla is somewhere over there doing something in North Carolina. And now you are officially all clear. We'll see you guys next week.
Kaz Gralla is the winner, the youngest driver to win at Daytona in NASCAR National Touring Series history.
Joey Stone just picked up his first career win. Holy cow, what a finish.